I'm sleepy as hell. Didn't sleep well today. The cosmic currents were too intense. Talking about cosmic currents, we'll talk about that as well for a little bit. Honey. No mustache. Heavy B.
Too. Oh,
Are,
you?
are you ready to learn more about Photolis, friend?
I took a painkiller. I got a really bad migraine or something since this morning. Like, first I had like some blurry vision, and then I got a super bad headache all day.
Really, man?
Yeah, not maybe the weather or some. I don't know what it is.
Man. Do
But
you,
yeah.
do you, do you, do you practice exercises, VB?
So listen, I just checked the YouTube stats for all the Startlers videos I record. Yeah, we have 100% male viewers and listeners. And the median age is like 35 to 44 years old. That's like 60%. 45 to 54 years old, 27.6%. 25 to 34 years old, 11.6%. No viewers under 25.
This is crazy.
And
That means Dominic
so
doesn't watch our videos, bro.
that means Beth and Dominic don't watch a video, and Beth and Dominic is too young for starters. It's
Yeah.
100%.
Santi as well. Santi doesn't watch our videos as well.
Yeah, they're too young. It's crazy.
Crazy, crazy. Bohemian, how are you doing, friend? I see you. Green light turning on. Do you want to learn how Photolis enslaved the whole galaxy? Something like this? Your your audio is not coming out, but yep. I think we can get started. Um, something will be that I saw people asking, and you can direct them. We have a G7 code.
Oh, you have one? Okay, cool.
Yes, which is R in honor of our episode today, where we talk about the Fotoli and their society, their powers, their objectives, and things like that. Okay, guys, I think we can get started. Uh, and as people join, we'll have them join us. I would advise everyone to get something to drink, maybe even something to eat today,
Coffee?
because
Co-
coffee.
yeah. Oh, you can
Uh,
hear me.
no,
That was
now
a test.
now we can hear you. Yes. Today
Okay.
today's a day for something more. How could I put it? Today's a day for tea. Yeah, Fotoli requires tea. It's it's different. Yes, Fotoli is a very special species in the world of Star Atlas, and for me personally, because they are super hard to work on. And the reason why Fotoli are super hard to work on is because by design from Danny and the others, they have a very high level, um, we could say power in a sense, but it's more of technological development, uh, cultural development. The Fotoli is by far the most advanced species in the lore of Star Atlas overall. Like, they are not native of Galia Expanse. This is something I'm not sure I have ever told you guys about this. The Fotoli, they come from outside. And the place where the Fotoli come from, uh, Stick, I saw you sent me a DM, bro. Can you send Santi, please? So he can do that. Thank you, friend. Uh, the way that sorry, I was talking about the origins of the photolis, right? Yeah, the photoli don't come from Gaia expanse. They are not native to our galaxy, and actually they came to Gaia uh, due to some very interesting reasons that I can't share right now, but maybe you get some clues from our conversation here today. They come from a place called the Expanse, and the way that they made it into Gaia Expanse is through one sector, which you guys should know by now if you have played Sage Labs on the Oni territory. They came from Night Window. Let me see if I can get you guys. Let me see if I can remember the name of this zone. Night Window is Oni 5. So the Photoli came to Gaia Expanse uh, through Night Window, and something very interesting happened once the Photoli arrived in Gaia. Uh, they have arrived long time before, and it took them a long while to meet with the other species of Gaia Expanse. Actually, most of the time before they they came first as scouts, and yeah, Peleon. They came first as scouts. They started watching the different sectors, the dynamics of Gaia Expanse. At that time, there were still some old civilizations in Gaia Expanse that no longer exists in the current world of Star Atlas, and they remained hidden. They remained hidden for a long time, and they were actually building the first bases that they have in Star Atlas. Uh, they came through the Titanship. They came from with the Pi, the Rainbow Pi. That was the vessel that they used to come to Gaia Expanse, and they settled a base on the Night Window sector. This base is still in the canon lore of Star Atlas. The other species don't know about it. It's called Dawnbreak, and they have the seat of power, which remains hidden from the eyes of other civilizations. And yeah, they try to be very elusive and not to engage too much with other species, especially the ascended Photoli. And we are going to talk a little bit about this in a little bit when we start talking about the different Photolis, their constitution, what they do, and things like that. But yeah, it's the Photoli mothership. It's a base that they have for themselves. It was never used for war or even engaged with other civilizations of Gaia expanse. So yeah, they have their reasons. You guys will probably figure out some stuff about this later on during our conversations. And yeah, Photoli, as I was saying in the very beginning, they are very hard characters for you to work on. Because when you have one species that has control of light, of energy, when they have long lifespans, and they have much more power than any other species in the galaxy, how do you build a society like that? How do you make them interesting so they are not some deus ex machina that appears in the lore and simply destroy everything in their path, or even what's their motivations? And well, how do we make them interesting? How their society works? And today I'm sharing something with you guys that is the basis of how Photoli works. And this system, I feel this system is cool. It still needs some development. I'm still working on the details of it, but Photoli mostly works under a system that I call essence trading. From the moment that a Photoli is born, and they are born under very special circumstances, which I maybe can talk a little bit about it later, the Photoli knows exactly how much energy or life force it has. So the Photoli, from the day that they are born, they figure out how much longer they will exist. And this is a very important mechanic uh, for the Photoli society because Photolis settle their disputes, Photolis use their powers, Photoli engage in combat when things get serious by using this life force. And whenever the Photolis and their groups they need to decide something uh, that extrapolates their individual desires or their individual interests. They pull together and they have votes in which the Photoli uses their life essences as votes for the propositions that they want or they feel that are important for their civilization. In this way, a single Photoli, through sacrificing their a good portion of their life essence, they can even outvote. Exactly, they have a proper DAO. Yes, they get stakes. They have skin in the game whenever they are serious about something. Whenever they have a serious vote, they go and they pour their life forces, casting those as votes to support their proposition. So even when something that's very important for a Photolis is under vote, they can use sizable amounts of their life forces to try to tip the scales of the vote in their favor or in the favor of the things that they believe in. Since they are all might give, they are super powerful entities by themselves. They they are very mindful of spending and wasting their life force. So that's why, for example, a Photoli will use a ship and not simply go flying around dispersing his life force, wasting it with, trickeries and things like that. They are very mindful of using this essence, this power in whatever they do. And that's also the main, let's say, means of exchange when two proper photolis are addressing each other. Like if a photoli wants, uh, we'll talk about that later, Mustache. There are actually two types of photoli, and you guys probably, your crew members will probably will be from the second type. I'll talk about that in a little bit. So yeah, photolis have this means of exchanging. It's a decentralized order. Uh, Jesus Nakar, Jesus Christ, bro. And most of the time, the photoli is never. Most of the times, it's very rare, very, very, very rare for a photoli, for the photoli society to get together. First of all, they all live very distant from one another. They have their own agendas. They don't have a government like uh, that issues orders for them. They cooperate when necessary, but uh, most of the time, they have their own agendas. They do their own things, and each photoli has a very distinct vision about what is the greater good. All photolis, all normal photolis, will be generally good. in the sense that a Fotoli won't simply destroy a sentient being just for fun. Like, we don't see a Fotoli doing that. They are they are uh, they have good moral standards, except for Honi. They usually have good moral standings, unless they are one of the dark Fotolis. And dark Fotolis are problematic entities. We'll talk about them a little bit as well. They are the kind of guys who are a threat to the very existence of Galley Expense. And the plot of Never Alone touches on the main storyline of a Dark Fotoli. We'll talk about this. I know I'm introducing lots of different concepts that you guys have not got in touch with. So if anyone has any questions at any point, please feel free to interrupt me. I'll talk through them and we'll try to figure out what I can share, what I cannot. I ask you
I,
guys to don't go
I
out of this room spreading too much knowledge about this because some things might change. Not everything is canon, but yeah, we'll be talking about some cool stuff. Yeah, Bohemian, go on, friend.
oh yes, just one quick question. You mentioned that they don't have any fun. How come the Fotoli don't have fun? What do the Fotoli do for fun?
No, it's not that they don't have fun. What I meant to say is that they won't simply go around and kill someone or use their powers to wipe out the planet just because they are bored. It doesn't mean that they don't have fun. Actually, they do like a lot to have fun. Like, one way for you to make a Fotoli like you is if you can make him laugh. So Fotoli sometimes will do silly things or become companions of people just for the sake of making them laugh and things like that. Falcor, this is something that I really want to touch here. Uh, Fotoli versus Tufa, for Photolis and Tufas, they are one of the biggest teams of Star Atlas. I'll talk about that inclusively. The last time that all the Photolis of Galia Expanse got together was during the Convergence War to talk specifically about Iris and the Tufas. But yet, I feel like I'm opening too many side conversations. Let's talk about the Photoli Society for a little bit. So I'll explain the different types of Photolis, what is a dark Photoli, and overall how Photolis engage with the rest of Galia Expanse. The first thing that you guys need to know is that the Photolis, they don't start as almighty beings. Photolis grow, and when a Photoli is born, he has a peak of energy, but the Photoli is not complete in the sense that that Photoli, it needs to go through a transition, and he needs to he needs to find a way for him to ascend. The ascension is the main objective of any Photoli that is born in Galia Expanse. They simply, whenever a Photoli is born, he for the first years he's under the care of an ascended Photoli that will set him on a path towards ascension. But the main Photoli won't give him all the information that he needs or the materials that he needs to ascend. And what I can tell you guys right now is that this maturity process for the Photoli is one of the unique things of their species and is something that other species of Gallia expanse uh, might have learned due to the actions of one Fotoli that you guys have already seen appearing in the Staratas lore. And Mustache, it's not R. So I'll leave you guys with this hint. This is something actually cool that you guys can think about later. Uh, Maybe I can give you more hints on this, but the interesting thing here, uh, yeah, Mustache, you are onto something here. But the interesting thing here is that the Photolis, they are born with uh, they are born with uh, the potential to become an ascended being, but they must go through a journey, and this journey requires some stuff and a very special ritual to allow the Photoli to ascend. Photolis are masters of alchemy. In the Staratas lore, they understand the very foundations of how all the elements that exist in Galia Expanse work. So this ritual, this ritual that we have, that the Photoli have for ascension, they require. It's not that they require a single material, but they require different materials, catalysts, uh, rituals, and special conditions that will allow a Photoli to ascend to this next tier, which is this powerful uh, god, almost godlike existence, which can trigger, which can trick a whole world like R did when he came to Earth. Right? Parallel to that, those are, let's say, those are biological states of the Photoli species. They start small. They start, of course, they have their own nature, powers, etc. But they start growing and learning how to control it. And once they come to maturity, they go through this ascension ritual. If they manage to survive the ritual and gather all the requirements, they become an ascended Photoli. Another different thing is the dark Photoli. Dark Photolis are Photolis that committed the only true sin, or they violated the only rule that the Photolis have. Dark Photolis, they steal life essences from other Photolis or sentient species. So what happens here is like you can think of dark Photolis as an existence that's willing to steal life forces as life essence. And this is a very hard thing to do to another Photoli. But when you simply kill, a Photoli kills other species, they can try to steal life forces and things like that through a very specific ritual they also have. This is the utmost taboo in the Photoli society. Like a dark Photoli, a dark Photoli is someone that will be killed on sight by any Photoli in Galia Expanse. There is no conversation. There is no uh, there is no trying to amend things. Dark Photol Jesus Bohemian. Dark Photolis, they are the real deal in terms of the true enemies of the Photolis are the Dark Photolis. So finding a Dark Photoli and dealing with a Dark Photoli is also something very dangerous. Uh, Most of the and it's also something very important to say here. This is one of the most well kept secrets of the Photolis in Star Atlas Galia Expanse. Because imagine how we would react, how the other species would react if they learned that there are dark photolis among us. Like, uh, can you imagine how much distrust, how much fear the other species would have of the photolis if they learned that photolis can extend their life time through sacrifices of other sentient species? Of course, it's not something efficient like uh, uh, you'd need like thousands of lives of sentient beings just to get one more day of life for a Dark Photoli. Uh, Pelehun, the god in Etira, is linked with a Dark Photoli. I'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit. But yeah, now you guys know that there are Dark Photolis. Um, they have they participate in a series of events in the world of Star Atlas, uh, mostly in the backstage. Uh, and as answering your question, Falcor, yes, I want there to be ways for you to be evil in Star Atlas. Mostly because I believe that this kind of freedom will make the game more interesting for players and we'll be able to see the reality of human nature and especially the players that are in our community nowadays. Uh, so yeah, the thing here, I believe it would be super entertaining to see if our players would be uh, willing to sacrifice crew members and other native species to dark photolis to get their favors or even build up reputation with them. But I'll tell you guys straight away, I don't plan to make any of these easy for you. Like if you are going to this path, you can expect that you'll be people fight you every single uh, step that you try to take. For me, this is a must-have, and the forces of good of Star Atlas will be there trying to stop you or even terminate you should you go to this path. Yeah. So, Falcor is asking something really cool about the light of a Visco. The light of a Visco is one of the first stories that I shared when I joined Star Atlas, and we had the newsletter and the weekly lore. And the Light of Hibiscus tells of a city on a planet on the border of the high risk zone with the medium zone, where a city that existed like a maze was left in ruins by unknown motives. Like the only thing that was left there were mutated monsters and a city that moved during different periods of time. At the center of that city, there is a fountain of liquid light, and the lore said that Photolis are interested in acquiring that liquid light. Yes, mutants are confirmed. Absolutely. I have lots of mutants planned in Star Atlas lore. So, yeah, liquid light is one of the elements used in ascension rituals by the Photolis. Not that they are necessary, but they are one of the possibilities to participate in the ascension ritual. Uh, and the thing about this ascension ritual, if we have those in game, and I plan on having those if game design allows us, is that this ritual, they will have different components as I explained it before, and the higher the grades of each one of the elements that that compounds the that makes the ascension ritual, the better the odds of your crew member uh, being successful in the ascension ritual. But should the ascension ritual fail, you lose your crew member. Uh, Mustache, the ascension ritual is the ritual that alumni Fotoli, the infant Fotolis, go through to become fully fledged Fotolis with mastery of light and things like that. And I explained it that this is something that it's not a fixed formula, but a ritual that requires different substances, catalysts, elements, and conditions to fulfill. And it's a Fotoli, uh, and it's a Fotoli duty to try to learn how they can ascend. It's not something that's told them, and there are many ways for the Fotoli to ascend. Uh, yeah, I'll keep it there. I won't expand too much on that. There is, I think one of you guys will remember if you guys read Core, and I'm sure that everyone here did because we are in the Lore Keepers meeting. Uh, you guys will remember this scene, and this for me is one of the coolest scenes uh, that we had in Core for me. It's when the Fotoli comes from the skies and lands on the ritual of the Order of Light. Yeah. That scene shows a Fotoli, a fully ascended Fotoli. And that specific Fotoli decided that it would be a good idea to create his own cult in Gallic Expanse. And many different things happened with this Fotoli. I won't go into details, but the members of the Order of Light, they learned one of the paths to ascension, or at least they have a clue on how to do it. Uh, there are it, there are some there are some stories that will go around this one, so I won't elaborate this too much. But this is a very interesting case because you guys will learn that there are many things associated with the ascension ritual, and that even Photolis need to watch out in Galia Expanse because it's a very dangerous galaxy, even when you are strong beings. And yeah. Now, I would like to touch a little bit more on the dark Photolis, non-binary Photolis. And I want to bring this conversation to the lore of Never Alone, because the lore of Never Alone, it ties with one of the most important dark Photolis that exists in Galia Expanse. As you guys know, Never Alone was supposed to be 4 missions, and we are going to close it on the 3rd chapter. So right now I'm writing the last quest for chapter 3. And the sad thing here is that I won't be able to write right away mission 4 and how Never Alone ends. But the story of the story of Never Alone is basically the story of how this Dark Photoli starts to manipulate the background of the world of Star Atlas to steer things in his way. And if you guys pay attention, to the different lores that we have already released in Star Atlas, you guys will see that in many different cases, photolis have been steering people in different directions. Uh, the first and most obvious one is R with the mud civilization, right? I mean, it's pretty straightforward when you see a being the size of, I don't know, a god appear in the sky looking like your religion savior, uh, and saying, hey guys, your destiny is on the stars. And I love the theories coming around, bro. Your fate is the stars, so you guys gotta move and leave this rusk of this planet behind. It's okay. Your destiny lies elsewhere. And if you guys pay attention, another thing very similar occurred with a minor species that I like a lot. We don't talk about them very much in Stratos lore, but they are super important, which are the Lumikir in their scriptorium. If you guys remember, the scriptorium of the Lumikir is the main source of knowledge in Galia Expanse. They are factual agnostic, they are not involved with the Council of Peace. And those little creatures, they are always searching for knowledge. They acquire SDUs, they trade knowledge, they sell knowledge, they buy knowledge. And the Fotoli Om, as Pelehum is remembering us, actually gave them a little bit of his own life force as in order to thank them for helping him when he got stranded in one of their travels. There are other cases as well. I'm not going to reveal them. You guys will need to figure those out now that you know that the Photolis are acting behind the scenes. But yeah, the Photolis, each one of them, they have agendas, they have their own ideas of how to better off the galaxy or even how to prolong their existences. Most of them won't do harm to other beings, but for example, a Photoli could trade you some of your life essence for information or treasures or things like that. So yeah, some people like to do deals with Photolis, and one of them actually ended up being a merchant prince. I don't know if I spoke about this before, but one of the originals merchant princes in the Star Atlas lore uh, is let me see his name. Gel. Yes, Gel. He was one of the founders of the Nebulotopia back in the origins of that sector history. So yeah, photolis are present. They usually don't take the spotlight because people are already pretty much aware of them. I mean, who wouldn't be, right? When you have a species of beings as strong as they are. So they try to not attract attention, but they are surely acting on their own agenda and benefits, mostly for good, besides the Dark Photoli, which has their own agendas and are less scrupulous on their ways of doing things. And now I would like to talk a little bit about something that you guys have already touched on early today, and that's the relationships between Iris, the Fotoli, and Tufa. Let me just drink some water, guys, because I'm my throat is completely dry right now. Um, Guys, any question about anything that I said before moving on to Tufa's, Iris, and Fotoli's relationships? Okay. The question here is wrong, Pelejon. He didn't kill anyone. He was one of the original ones, one of the merchant princes that formed the Nebulotopia. Uh, would a mud get a dark Photoli power to suck life? Um, I don't know. Actually a good question. I don't feel that even a ascended mud. I don't think he would be powerful enough uh to be to be sucking people's life. I it would be, to be honest. I'll give you guys a small spoiler here. The odds of a member of other species ascending is very, 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 very small. And they don't get as powerful or as strong, and they don't get the same abilities as the Photoli do when they ascend. They become generally stronger, more, they can even understand a little bit more about the essence of the universe, but it's not the same as one actual Photoli ascension. This is actually something that Danny and I are still discussing, like the limits of other ascended species. We know that there will be improvements if you manage to ascend, but we are still trying to figure out the limits and the extension of those powers. This is actually a very interesting question, Mustache, because I asked Danny this question and he replied to me, but I'm not telling you what he said. It was actually a very interesting question because I asked the same thing. So I'll leave you this because if I tell you this, you'll be super biased when you start playing the game. So let's keep this secret for a little while. But yeah, guys, I think it's time we start delving into the Tufa, Iris, and Fotoli relationship. Uh, a question, guys. Do you guys are finding the Fotoli lore interesting, like the mechanics? Let me know in the chat if you guys like Fotolis. We can we can expand more on them in the future. I am trying to I'm trying to have very distinct themes for each one of the species while keeping them all interesting and balanced and with their own philosophies and things like that. So I'm super happy to see that you guys are at least enjoying the discussion. Uh, awesome.
It's it's very interesting, Jose. Just one question: if we want to bring down a Potoli, let's say a dark Potoli, piss me off, how can I take him out, or at least you know imprison him so he won't bother me or my faction or my guild?
Man, this is actually a very good question, Bohemian. And there is a quest that I'm writing in the game for the high risk zone, and the name of the quest is How to Kill a God. And this quest is an exploration of one but this is for the right high this is for the far future, guys. But this is something that I really 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 want to do. And this is actually a quest where you team up with some guys that wants to bring down a Fotoli. And those guys, they are one of the few, uh, let's say, groups in Galaxpans which have actually killed one of the Fotoli. The Fotoli are strong, but they are not almighty, and there are ways to ward yourself and to kill Fotolis. Like they are not immortal, and there are other creatures in Galia Expanse that can become their rivals and can give them troubles in a direct confrontation. And one of them is the god in the depths of Etira in Yudun Waste. But I'm sorry, I can't give you more details on that one for now. But since your question was super cool, I really liked it. So that's why I decided to do this small spoiler. There are way Answering your question, there are ways and means to do that, but I feel that this knowledge will be relevant in game. So if I tell you guys now, you guys will know where to look and what to do, and this would be an advantage in game in future for some of the end game quests. So I'll keep this to myself. Okay? I'm sorry, but yeah, I would probably be fired if I told you guys this. So
No, don't
let
do that. Don't do that. Thank you
yeah.
very much, Jose, for answering that. I
Uh,
am officially creating the Potoli Assassination Guild. Okay, so
Jesus.
based on this answer,
Bro, but the photos are nice guys. Like most of them, they are nice guys. It's just very few bad apples, but those bad apples are super strong and very smart. So that's why they are dangerous. They are very strong, like entities overall. But the thing is that they don't take chances. I never liked villains that are dumb, like those guys that they are super strong, so they just try to power their way through. No, my villains, especially the high-end villains, they move very stealthily and try to steer things from very afar. So in the when we close Never Alone mission, I'm going to do a lore keepers meeting, and this whole episode will be me telling you guys how the actual story of Never Alone ends. And in the last phrase of that meeting, you see how big and how calculated a Dark Photoli movements in Galia Expanse is. So hold me on that promise. We'll do that a few lore meetings from now. So yeah, this is going to be one fun and entertaining meeting. But yeah, let's move on because we only have 10 more minutes, and I want to speak a little bit about Pinky Promise. Pinky Promise. I want to speak a little bit about Tufas, Photolis, and Iris. This is, for me, those three elements together with you guys, the players, makes the core of the whole story of Star Atlas. Like every plot, every lore element, everything that we do here is building up the story of Iris, the Tooth, and the Tufas. Like, it's not an exaggeration to say that Tufas might be the true protagonists of Star Atlas, in a sense. And I'll be upfront here. The Tufas, for very good reasons, they don't like the Photolis. Iris hates the Photolis. And one of the biggest clashes, and the reason why the Photolis met for the last time, was that the Photolis were deciding on what to do about the existence of Iris. From everything that I explained to you guys know that The one thing that the photoliths fear is losing life force or essence, right? I mean, this is their own genuine fear that a photolith has. There are not many things that can make them die on a fight, but if they run out of energy, they simply become natural light and get united with the will of the universe. Gaia, if you guys remember, uh, Iris, sorry, if you guys remember the first posters that we had, Iris is nothing more or nothing less than an infinite source of energy. And this created much and many problems that might have culminated in the Convergence War. I am so sorry because I can't give you the details of what went there, but you guys can think that the two of us, they are nearly opposite existence to the photoliths. I wanted to do an episode about Tufas and Iris, but Danny told me that I need to be very careful with this because those secrets, even if I start talking about the different types of Tufas, their origin stories, and things like that, I am pretty much giving you guys hints about the cataclysm. Uh, what I can tell you guys is that whenever we speak about Tufa, we are talking about something that's a category. And there are many types of Tufa inside this huge category. And Iris sees the Tufas as her children. So Iris, as a mother, actively protect the Tufas against the threats of Galia expense. Man, I am so my tongue hurts because I want to talk. I want to talk. I want to share with you the secrets of the cataclysm. I want to tell you about the different types of Tufas, what is their motivation, the nature of Iris, the different aspects of the cosmic currents. Oh, and that, okay, I think I can tell you this. The cosmic currents, they are, of course, a phenomenon that comes from Iris. And the photolis, for the photolis, the presence of the cosmic currents works, impacts them really strongly. If a photoli receives a little bit, or if they are basked in a little bit of the cosmic currents, uh, it's almost as if they were on drugs. You know, they feel exhilaration, they feel they feel marvelously. It's as if they go high. You know, but if they get too close to the untempered cosmic currents, it is toxic for them. It's just like a human being that drinks too much water and die from water poisoning. You know what I'm saying? So the cosmic currents, in a sense, is a mechanism of defense from Iris against the Photoli, to some extent. I just realized this now talking to you guys, so this was super helpful for me as well to interpret this in this manner. So yeah, those lore meetings are really good things because this allows me to think about the concepts that I create in a more objective manner. So yeah, but unfortunately, I can't go too deep here. Uh, I can't go too far because once more I'll be revealing things that might be in-game elements in the future. I'll tell you this, Mustache. The two are not an extension of Iris, but they surely have a relationship. And this relationship comes if you guys study the poster about Iris that we released in the beginning. There are lots of alpha in terms of Tufa lore coming from those. But it's super hard to figure this out at this moment. So, yeah, guys, I think I shared enough information for a day. I actually released much more information than I previously planned to do, but I don't regret it. I felt this was super fun. I always wanted to talk with you guys a little bit more about the Photoli, and they are one of my favorite species. They are very hard to work with, but they are super rewarding at the same time because they allows for some crazy stuff in the plot of Star Atlas, and you guys will see the kind of thing that I'm talking about when we talk about the end of Never Alone. Which, by the way, one of the places where which we are going to explore in this episode of Never Alone Lore in the Lore Keepers meeting is actually the tomb of a Futoli. So yes, it's going to be entertaining. You guys will be able to see what kind of secrets the tombs of fallen Futolis hold and how everything connects with the overall Star Atlas lore. Guys, any questions? If that's a great question, Mustache. That's a great question. You learn that once we have the episode focused on Neverland. So, any questions, guys, before we close this episode of the Lore Keepers?
Oh, I'm cool. Thank you very much. That was a lot of information.
Yeah, man, a lot of things to take in. I'm sorry I dropped many different concepts on you guys, but yeah, I wanted to get those out of my chest. I had them hidden here for a long time. As Virtu asked, I have been cooking this for a long, long time. So yeah, it was good to share some of those today.
And just to confirm, all the Potoli and all the Tufa are going to be rarity anomaly.
Yes, all photolis and all tufas are rarity anomaly. There are very few of them. Not necessarily. Yeah, nah, I almost gave you a spoiler. So, but they'll be anomaly. Yes,
That's only 50.
I won't comment on the number of total photolis and tufas. There are surely more photolis and tufas than crew members available, but yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That gives me hope.
Mustache, baby photolis that are not ascended, well, they will stay in the alumni stage until they ascend. But baby photolis, they have a very special property, uh, and yeah, I cannot talk about them as well. Maybe you guys will learn more about this on Score starts progressing again. Good news is that team is back working on Core, so you guys will get back to Uh, we'll get back to we'll get back to releasing volumes of core. So he was working on something really really cool. You guys will see it one day. So yeah, thank you, Maurice. I appreciate, friend, and thank you guys for being here with me today, listening about Starata's lore, asking your questions, sharing your insights. It sure helps me a lot, makes me feel a lot better about everything that we are doing here, especially in the lore side, and also helps me put everything that I have in my head here with you guys so we can drink together and build up this crazy game and metaverse that we are constructing. Thank you guys. I hope you have an awesome day. I love you all and take care with the dark photolis, guys. Don't go too deep into the darkness. All right. Thank you very much. Have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.